Are you standing at a crossroads in your own life? Not a literal one, with dirt paths and signposts, but a quiet, internal one. The kind that shows up in the dead of night, or in a moment of silence in your car after you've pulled into the driveway. You've followed the map, you've done everything you were supposed to do. You've built the career, nurtured the relationships, checked all the boxes that were supposed to equal a life well lived. From the outside, the picture looks perfect. Stable. Secure. Maybe even enviable. So why do you feel more lost than ever? There's a hollow ache, isn't there? A subtle but persistent hum of discontent beneath the surface of your daily life. It's a strange kind of emptiness, one that isn't caused by a lack of things, but perhaps by the very pursuit of them. You keep running, chasing the next goal, the next promotion, the next milestone, believing that satisfaction is waiting for you just over the next hill. Yet, the further you run, the more the destination seems to recede. Every achievement, once celebrated, quickly becomes the new baseline, leaving you to chase something else. It feels like you're on a machine, one that promises a spectacular view but never actually moves you an inch forward. This isn't just a feeling, and you are not alone in it. Psychologists have a name for this exact experience, the hedonic treadmill. It's a core feature of the human condition. Our brains are wired to adapt. That wonderful feeling you get from a new car, a pay raise, or a hard-earned success. It's real, but it's fleeting. Your mind quickly adapts, accepts this new reality as normal, and immediately starts looking for the next source of pleasure. The treadmill speeds up, and you have to run faster and faster just to feel like you're staying in the same place. It's a race with no finish line, and it is utterly, profoundly, exhausting. But what if the goal isn't to run faster? What if the only way to win is to step off the treadmill entirely? What if there was a way to recalibrate your mind, to find a durable sense of peace and purpose that doesn't depend on what happens next? There is. It's not a new age trend or a quick fix hack. It is a quiet, steady, and powerful philosophy that has been tested for over 2,000 years, a timeless operating system for the human mind. It's called Stoicism. And please, don't let the name fool you. This isn't about being emotionless or suppressing what you feel. In fact, it's the very opposite. Stoicism is a toolkit for feeling everything without being controlled by anything. It's not about changing the chaotic world around you, but about fundamentally changing how you experience it. It's what modern science is now beginning to confirm through studies on mindfulness and emotional regulation. The greatest power you will ever have is the power over your own perspective. The journey we are about to begin is not about adding more to your life. It's about stripping away what was never truly serving you. It is a perspective shift, a deliberate reset of your inner world. The door is open. The first step is simply to stop running. So if running faster isn't the answer, what is? The first, most courageous step is simply to stop. To deliberately, consciously, step off the treadmill. This feels counterintuitive, doesn't it? In a world that screams, go, 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 the act of standing still can feel like failure. We have been conditioned to believe that progress is perpetual motion, that to be stagnant is to be left behind. But the wisdom of Stoicism, now echoed by decades of psychological research, asks us to challenge that fundamental assumption. It asks us to look closely at the machine we've been running on. Let's really dig into this idea of the hedonic treadmill, because understanding it isn't just an interesting piece of trivia, it's the key to unlocking the cage you may not even realize you're in. Imagine your happiness is like a thermostat in your house, set to a comfortable 72 degrees. This is your baseline, your natural emotional set point. When something wonderful happens, you get that promotion you worked tirelessly for. It's like a blast of warm, joyful air. The temperature in the room shoots up to 85 degrees. It feels amazing. But what does the thermostat do? It recognizes the deviation from its setting, and it kicks in the air conditioning to bring the temperature back down to 72. Conversely, when a negative event occurs, a project fails, you have a painful argument, it's a gust of cold, bitter wind. the temperature plummets to 60 degrees. But again, the system corrects itself. The heat comes on, and eventually, the room returns to its familiar 72. This is hedonic adaptation in action. It's a brilliant survival mechanism that ensures we are never permanently crippled by despair, but it also, cruelly, puts a ceiling on our joy. Why are we built this way? From an evolutionary standpoint, it makes perfect sense. For our ancestors, satisfaction was dangerous. The hunter-gatherer who felt satisfied after a good meal and decided not to look for more food was less likely to survive the coming winter. The one who constantly felt a slight nagging, a desire for a little more, a little better, was the one who stored more resources, built a safer shelter, and ultimately, passed on their genes. That nagging feeling, that constant whisper of "not enough," is an echo of a survival instinct that has long outlived its usefulness. In the modern world, this instinct doesn't help us survive, it just keeps us buying things we don't need, chasing titles that don't fulfill us, and endlessly trying to optimize a life that is already whole. Think about the last time you achieved something you deeply wanted. The house you dreamed of, the income level you strived for, the personal goal you crushed. Remember the initial euphoria? The feeling that, this is it, I've made it. How long did it truly last? A month? A week? Maybe only a few days before the shine wore off, the new reality became normal, and your mind, true to its programming, began scanning the horizon for the next thing. The bigger house. The higher income. The next, more ambitious goal. This isn't a personal failing. It is not a sign of your ingratitude or weakness. It is your biology working exactly as intended, in a world it was not designed for. The Stoics understood this trap 2 millennia before science gave it a name. They saw that the source of so much human misery wasn't the absence of a good life, but the flawed belief that a good life was something to be acquired from the outside. They recognized that if your sense of peace is dependent on external achievements, you are building your house on sand. Seneca, one of the great Stoic minds, wrote, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." This is the core of the first lesson. It's not about rejecting ambition or renouncing your goals. It's about changing the why behind them. Are you acting from a place of inner fullness, or are you acting to fill an inner void? Are you choosing your goals, or are your unexamined desires choosing them for you? The chase for more is a myth because it operates on the false promise that the finish line exists somewhere out there. The Stoic insight is that there is no finish line to be crossed, only a path to be walked. And how you walk that path is infinitely more important than how fast you run. So, the first practice is one of awareness. For the next week, just watch the treadmill. Notice the moments your mind tells you, "I'll be happy when." Notice the fleeting satisfaction of a small win, and how quickly the hunger for another one appears. You don't need to change it. You don't need to judge it. Just observe it. See the machine for what it is. This simple act of observation is the first step in taking back your power from it. You begin to realize that you are not the runner on the treadmill. You are the one who can choose to step off. And in that realization, you discover that if running faster isn't the answer, perhaps the answer lies in a different direction entirely. It lies not in gaining more, but in letting go. When you finally step off that spinning treadmill, the first thing you notice is the silence. The frantic pounding in your chest subsides. The desperate gasping for air ceases. For a moment, there is stillness. But then, a new feeling often creeps in, uncertainty. You've spent your whole life running in one direction, and now that you've stopped, you might ask, what now? How do I navigate the world if I'm not constantly striving, pushing, and grasping? The answer, and the second great Stoic shift in perspective, lies in mastering an art that our culture has taught us to fear, the art of letting go. Let's be very clear about what letting go means in this context. It is not apathy. It is not surrender. It is not rolling over and letting the world walk all over you. In our society, especially for those of us who have built careers and families, letting go, can sound dangerously close to giving up. But true letting go is an act of profound strength and wisdom. Imagine clenching your fist as tightly as you can. Your knuckles are white, your forearm trembles with tension. That fist is strong, yes, but it is also rigid, brittle, and completely unable to receive anything. Now, open your hand. It is relaxed, flexible, and ready. It can hold things lightly, it can create, it can connect. That is the difference between clinging and clarity. So why do we clench our fists so tightly in the first place? In one word, fear. We are terrified of the unknown. We try to control every variable in a project at work, not because it's the most effective way to lead, but because it momentarily silences the gnawing anxiety that things might not go according to plan. We try to manage the lives of our loved ones, offering unsolicited advice and worrying incessantly, not because we don't trust them, but because we cannot bear the uncertainty of their path. We obsessively check the news, the stock market, our emails, clinging to the illusion that being informed is the same as being in control. This desperate need for control is the source of so much of our suffering. We are trying to nail the ocean to the floor, we are trying to command the wind. It is an exhausting and ultimately futile battle against the nature of reality itself. This is where the Stoics offer a tool of incredible power, a mental model so simple and effective it can change your life from the moment you hear it. They called it the dichotomy of control. It states that everything in life can be divided into two categories, that which is within our control, and that which is not. What is within our control? Only a few things, but they are the most important ones: our thoughts, our judgments, our choices, our responses, the integrity with which we act. What is not within our control? Literally everything else: the weather, the economy, traffic, illness, aging, how other people behave, their opinions of us, and even the ultimate outcome of our best efforts. The Stoic argument is that all human misery is born from a single error, trying to control what we cannot, while neglecting to master what we can. We pour our precious energy and emotional capital into things that are fundamentally outside of our jurisdiction, and in doing so, we give our peace of mind away. Modern psychology has validated this ancient wisdom through the concept of the locus of control. Researchers have found that people generally fall into two camps. Those with an external locus of control believe their lives are governed by outside forces, luck, fate, powerful others. They often feel like victims of circumstance, tossed about by a world that is happening to them. But those with a strong internal locus of control believe that they are the primary authors of their lives through their choices and reactions. They understand that while they cannot always choose their circumstances, they always choose their response. And study after study, including a wealth of data from the National Institutes of Health, confirms that an internal locus of control is directly linked to greater resilience, lower stress, higher self-esteem, and greater life satisfaction. These people are not luckier, they are mentally stronger. They have learned to place their focus where their power truly lies. Think of a woman who pours her heart and soul into building a small business. For years, it's her entire life. She works tirelessly, treats her employees well, and creates a product she believes in. Then, a sudden market shift, a global event completely beyond her influence, renders her business model obsolete. The business fails. The external locus reaction would be despair: my life is ruined. I'm a failure. The world is unfair. But the internal locus, the Stoic response, is different. It still allows for grief and disappointment, those are natural human emotions. But it recognizes that while the success of the business was ultimately not in her control, her effort, her integrity, and her character throughout the process were. Her worth was not tied to the outcome. Her power wasn't in preventing the storm, but in how she learned to navigate it. She can now take the wisdom, the resilience, the character she built and apply it to whatever comes next. This is the freedom that comes from letting go. When you release your death grip on outcomes, you don't lose your drive, you lose the anxiety that was poisoning it. An immense amount of energy is liberated. This energy transforms into a quiet, unshakable clarity. You start seeing people and situations as they are, not as you fear they might be. You make better decisions because your mind is no longer clouded by desperate attachment. You act with courage, not because you are certain you will succeed, but because you know that your worth does not depend on it. This is the power of the open hand. It is the rational act of a person who is wide awake, wise enough not to force what's beyond their reach. And when you stop wasting your life trying to nail the ocean to the floor, you will be astonished at how effortlessly you learn to swim. You will have created a space within yourself, a calm center. And the next step is to learn how to fortify it. So, you have stepped off the treadmill. You have begun the practice of letting go of what you can't control. And in doing so, you have created a quiet space within yourself, a clearing in the dense, noisy forest of modern life. This newfound space is precious. But it is also vulnerable. The chaos of the world, the demands of others, and the relentless noise of your own anxious thoughts are always waiting to rush back in and reclaim that territory. The next crucial step, therefore, is not to escape the world, but to build a fortress within it. The Stoics had a powerful name for this, the inner citadel. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, arguably the most powerful man in the world during his time, faced plagues, wars, betrayals, and the immense pressure of ruling an empire. Yet, in his private journal, he wrote to himself, "People look for retreats for themselves, in the country, by the coast, or in the hills. But it is in your power to retreat into yourself whenever you choose." Think about that. Your mind as a place of refuge. A fortified castle you can enter at any moment, no matter what storm is raging outside. This isn't a metaphor for hiding from your problems. It is a strategy for facing them from a position of unshakable strength. To understand why this citadel is so necessary, we must first identify the enemy at the gates. And the enemy, most of the time, is not an external person or event. It is our own unexamined thoughts. For many of us, our mind is not a private sanctuary, it's more like a chaotic public square with no security. Any random thought can wander in, grab a megaphone, and become the center of attention. A critical comment from your boss, a passive-aggressive email, a worry about your kids, a memory of a past mistake, these are not just thoughts, they become tyrants. They hijack your emotional state, dictate your mood, and drain your energy for hours, sometimes days. You're not living, you're constantly reacting to the loudest voice in your head. How do you begin to build a defense against this internal chaos? The first line of defense, and the most powerful tool in the Stoic arsenal, is the pause. It is the practice of creating a tiny sliver of space between a trigger and your reaction. You know the feeling. The hot flash of anger when someone cuts you off in traffic. The cold drop of anxiety in your stomach when you receive an unexpected bill. The flush of shame when you make a mistake in a meeting. In that split second, between the stimulus and your habitual, knee-jerk reaction, lies your freedom. The practice is simply this: when you feel that powerful emotion arise, do nothing. Just for a single, conscious breath. Inhale. Exhale. That's it. You are not suppressing the emotion. You are not denying it. You are simply refusing to be its slave. You are giving your wiser, more rational self a moment to come online. This simple pause is the gateway to a more profound practice, one that modern psychology calls cognitive distancing. This is the ability to observe your thoughts and feelings without being consumed by them. It's the shift in identity from "I am angry" to "I am noticing the feeling of anger arising within me." The difference is monumental. In the first statement, you are the anger. In the second, you are the calm, curious observer of the anger. You are watching the clouds of emotion drift through the sky of your awareness, knowing that you are the sky, not the clouds. The clouds will pass. The sky remains. This might sound like a simple mental trick, but its power to heal is profound and scientifically validated. In fact, for anyone who thinks this is soft or New Age, consider this: a landmark study published in the prestigious medical journal JAMA Psychiatry in 2022 conducted a rigorous, randomized clinical trial. It found that an 8-week program in mindfulness-based stress reduction, which is built on these principles of awareness and non-judgmental observation, was just as effective for treating diagnosed anxiety disorders as a leading, first-line pharmaceutical drug. Let that sink in. A practice of quiet, internal observation has the same measurable, biological impact as powerful medication. This is the science of stillness. It is not just a philosophy, it is a form of mental medicine. So, how do you practice this in your busy life? Start small. The next time you feel a strong, difficult emotion, try this simple, 3-step exercise. 1. Acknowledge it without judgment. Simply say to yourself, "This is anxiety," or "I am feeling resentment." Give it a name. 2. Grant it permission to be there for a moment. Instead of fighting it, say, "It's okay that this feeling is here right now." Fighting a thought is like wrestling with a ghost, you only exhaust yourself. 3. Gently shift your focus. Don't force the thought away. Just redirect your attention to something tangible in the present moment, the feeling of your feet on the floor, the sound of the air conditioner, the warmth of your coffee cup. Your inner citadel isn't built in a day. It is built brick by brick, moment by moment. Every time you choose to pause instead of react, you lay a brick. Every time you observe a thought without becoming it, you lay another. Every time you gently return to the present moment, you are reinforcing the walls. The goal isn't to create an empty mind, free of all negative thoughts. That's impossible. The goal is to build a mind so spacious, so resilient, so fortified, that when the inevitable storms of life arrive, you have a safe place to stand, watch the rain fall, and know with absolute certainty that you are secure within. From this place of strength, your actions in the world change completely. Standing secure within your inner citadel, you are now operating from a place of calm and clarity. You've learned to observe your thoughts without being ruled by them. But this brings up a crucial question. So now what? How do I go back out into the world, pursue my goals, deal with difficult people, and strive for a better life without losing this hard-won peace? It's one thing to be a monk on a mountain, but how do you remain a stoic in the middle of a stressful board meeting, a family argument, or a personal crisis? This leads us to what might be the most challenging, and ultimately, the most liberating principle in this entire philosophy, the art of action without attachment. Let's address the central paradox head-on, because it's one that trips up many ambitious, hardworking people. How can you possibly give something your all, pour your heart, soul, and countless hours into a project, a relationship, or a creative endeavor, and yet, remain completely at peace, regardless of the outcome? It feels like a contradiction. Either you care, and are therefore vulnerable to disappointment, or you don't care, and therefore your work lacks passion and excellence. The Stoics argue this is a false choice. There is a third way. The key lies in surgically separating two things that we almost always fuse together, our effort and the outcome. Your effort, your intention, the quality of your work, the character you display, these things are entirely within your control. The outcome, however, is almost never entirely up to you. It is subject to 1,000 external variables, the economy, luck, other people's choices, timing, and countless other factors beyond your influence. The Stoic path is to place 100% of your focus and self-worth on the part you can control, the effort, and to radically accept that the outcome is not yours to command. The classic analogy for this is the archer. A skilled archer does everything in her power to ensure a perfect shot. She perfects her stance, controls her breathing, gauges the distance, feels the tension in the bowstring, and aims with unwavering focus. Her process is a work of art. This is all within her control. But the moment the arrow leaves the bow, it enters a world she does not command. A sudden gust of wind could push it off course. The target could move unexpectedly. The arrow itself might have an unseen flaw. The foolish archer defines her success or failure only by whether the arrow hits the bullseye. Her ego rises and falls with every shot. The wise, stoic archer defines her success by the integrity and excellence of her process. She falls in love with the act of shooting well, If the arrow hits the target, wonderful. If it misses due to a gust of wind, there is no self-recrimination, because she did her part perfectly. A viewer on a previous video articulated this beautifully. They said the key was learning to trust the process. That is it, right there. You shift your entire source of satisfaction from the destination to the journey. You fall in love with the process of your work, the integrity of your effort, the character you display along the way, rather than being addicted to the prize at the end. And once again, this is not just an ancient philosophical idea. This 2,000-year-old principle is the very engine behind one of the most respected and effective modern psychological treatments available today, acceptance and commitment therapy, or ACT. ACT helps people deal with all manner of life's difficulties by focusing on two things. First is acceptance, accepting the reality of painful feelings, difficult thoughts, and external events you cannot control. You don't have to like them, but you stop wasting energy fighting them. The second is commitment, committing to taking action, day in and day out, that is guided by your deepest personal values. The goal of ACT isn't necessarily to make you feel good. It's to help you build a rich, full, and meaningful life, even in the presence of the inevitable pain that life entails. Let's make this real. Imagine you are working towards a major promotion at your job. The old way, the way of attachment, is to be consumed by the outcome. Your mind is a storm of anxiety. I have to get this. What if I don't? What will people think? My career will be over. Your work suffers because it is driven by fear. The new way, the Stoic or ACT way, is to focus entirely on your values and your process. You might say, my value is to be excellent, diligent, and helpful. Therefore, I will commit to creating the best, most well-researched, most honest presentation I am capable of. You pour your effort into the action, not the result. The strange paradox is that this detached approach often makes you more likely to succeed, because your work is clear-headed and authentic. But even if you don't get the promotion, your self-worth remains intact. You didn't get the outcome, but you were the person you wanted to be. You were the skilled archer who made a beautiful shot. Consider it in a personal relationship. You want to mend a rift with a family member. The attached approach is to fixate on the outcome. They must forgive me. They need to see things my way. This leads to pressuring, arguing, and resentment. The detached, value-driven approach is to say, my value is to be a loving and honest person. I will commit to expressing my feelings and my apology with kindness and sincerity, without any expectation. You control your side of the street. You deliver the message with grace, and then you let go, allowing them the dignity of their own response. This is the very definition of freedom. When your sense of self is no longer on the line with every single project, every interaction, every goal, you move through the world with a calm confidence, a lightness that is magnetic. You are no longer acting out of a desperate need to prove yourself, but from a quiet desire to express the best version of yourself. And this leads us to the final, and most profound, realization of this entire journey. We have walked a significant path together. We began by daring to step off the frantic treadmill of chasing more. We learned the liberating power of letting go, focusing only on what is ours to control. From that space of clarity, we began building an inner citadel, a fortress of peace in a chaotic world. And from within that fortress, we learned how to act with purpose and integrity, releasing our desperate attachment to outcomes and learning to trust the process. Each of these steps was a radical act. But they all converge on one final, life-altering realization. A truth so simple, yet so profound, that it has the power to silence the anxious striving in your heart for good. For your entire life, you have likely been engaged in a single, overarching project, the project of self-improvement. You've read the books, listened to the podcasts, set the goals. You've worked to become smarter, fitter, more productive, more disciplined, more patient. Each of these efforts came from a good place, but they were all built upon one, deeply flawed, and often unconscious assumption. That assumption is that you are fundamentally lacking. That you are somehow broken, incomplete, or not quite right, and that you must constantly work to fix, add to, or upgrade yourself in order to finally be worthy of peace, love, and contentment. But what if that entire premise is false? What if you were never broken to begin with? This is the final discovery on the Stoic path. The ultimate destination is not to become a new person. It is to finally, deeply, realize that you were already whole from the start. The journey is not one of construction, but of excavation. It's not about building a better you, it's about chipping away all the layers of fear, insecurity, and false conditioning that have obscured the calm, complete, and powerful self that has been there all along. A viewer of this channel captured this truth with perfect clarity. They wrote that they finally realized that wholeness doesn't come from chasing more, but from quietly returning to who I already am. Read those words again. Wholeness is not a prize you win at the end of a long race. It is your natural state. It is the home you return to when you stop running. Think of a master sculptor who is given a shapeless block of marble. Does he create a magnificent statue by adding clay or plaster? No. He creates it by chipping away the pieces of marble that are not the statue. The masterpiece was already there, concealed within the raw material. All the sculptor does is remove the excess. Your life's work is the same. It is not to add more layers, more achievements, more possessions, more validation. It is to bravely chip away the non-essential, the fear of judgment, the need for approval, the belief that your worth is measured by your productivity. What remains when you remove all of that is your authentic self. Whole, unbroken, and enough. The ancient Greeks had a word for the state this brings. It is not happiness as we think of it, that fleeting, circumstantial emotion we chase on the treadmill. Their word was eudaimonia. It's often translated as human flourishing, but it's deeper than that. Eudaimonia is the profound and lasting well-being that comes from living a life of virtue, reason, and purpose. It is the deep sense of rightness that arises when your actions in the world are in perfect alignment with your highest self. It is a peace that is not dependent on whether you get the promotion, or whether people approve of you, or whether life goes according to your plan. It is a peace that comes from within, forged in the fires of self-awareness and integrity. It is the peace of knowing you are enough. When you internalize this, your entire energy shifts. You stop moving through the world with the needy, grasping energy of someone who is trying to get something, and you start moving with the calm, radiant energy of someone who is here to give something. You no longer enter conversations hoping to impress, but hoping to connect. You no longer pursue goals to prove your worth, but to express your purpose. You are no longer afraid of failure because you realize your wholeness was never on the line. Pause for a moment. Take a deep breath. And ask yourself this question honestly. If nothing else changed, if you gained no more success, no more recognition, no more possessions from this day forward, could you be at peace with the person you are, right here, right now? With all your imperfections and all your history? If you can feel even a flicker of a yes rising in your heart, not from logic, but from a deeper place of inner knowing, then you have just stepped out of the invisible prison that holds so much of the world captive. You have discovered the secret that the Stoics knew 2,000 years ago. You don't need to find your worth. You only need to stop believing you ever lost it. And so, our journey for today comes to a close. We have walked a path together, a path that leads not to a new destination, but back to the very ground on which you stand. We started by daring to step off the endless treadmill of chasing more, recognizing the myth that happiness lies just over the next horizon. We learned the profound strength in letting go of the illusion of control, reclaiming our power by focusing only on our own choices and responses. From there, we built a quiet refuge, an inner citadel within our own minds, a place of unshakable peace. We practiced acting in the world with courage and integrity, not out of attachment to a result, but as an expression of our deepest values. And finally, we arrived at the most fundamental truth of all, that we were never broken, and that wholeness is not something to be achieved, but something to be uncovered. These 5 steps are more than just a philosophy, they are a practical framework for resetting your life. They are the tools to use when you feel lost at the crossroads, when the noise of the world becomes deafening, when you feel that old, familiar ache of not enough creeping back in. This journey is not about becoming a perfect, emotionless Stoic. It is about becoming a more resilient, more peaceful, and more authentic version of the person you already are. It is about learning to live with wisdom and purpose in an imperfect world. But this understanding cannot remain purely intellectual. For a real shift to occur, it demands a first step. A small, honest commitment to yourself. So I invite you to pause and reflect. Of the 5 steps we've discussed, which one resonates the most with you, right here, right now? Which one feels like the medicine you need the most? Is it number 1, stepping off the treadmill? 2, letting go of control? 3, building your inner citadel? 4, acting without attachment? Or 5, accepting that you are already enough? Take a moment. Be honest. In the comments below, just type the number. That's all. 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. This isn't for me, it's for you. It is a declaration. A quiet promise to yourself. Your journey starts with a single, honest admission. And if you are truly ready to walk this path, not just today, but in the weeks and months to come, then I invite you to join this community. If you're ready to stop running and start living, subscribe to this channel. We don't offer easy answers or quick fixes here, but we are committed to providing the tools, the reminders, and the perspectives to help you find your own way. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and let's walk this path together. For now, there is nothing else you need to do. No need to rush to the next video, the next task. When this ends, I invite you to simply sit for a moment in the space you've created. Turn off the screen. Close your eyes. Listen to the quiet. Feel your own presence, whole and complete. Because sometimes, the moment when nothing seems to be happening is when everything truly begins.